It went beautifully. Oh, yes. Now, it's important for my testing. Hi, it's Todd from Todd's Workshop and Todd Cutler here. And today I'm back to show you, well, talk you around my spear thrower. This amazing monstrosity behind me of bungees, rubber, plastic, metal, pulleys, and, well, it's not really my soul, you think. But that's where you might be wrong. Because actually, I have a history going back of weird, crazy engineering stuff like this way before my lovely, beautiful reproduction historical stuff I do now. So I love messing around with this kind of thing. But it's not really what I built it for. This wasn't for messing around. This was for a serious thing. So any of you who remember the lockdown longbow, right? It's been a while back, but basically it was an idea I had, which is quite simply that I cannot shoot a powerful, heavy English warbow of 120, 140, 160 pounds. I can't do it. I'm a weed, right? I can do 70. It's not enough for me to be able to do testing with longbow arrows like this one at Armour. And so I thought one day, and it was during lockdown, I thought one day, actually, you know what? I'm going to build a machine that will shoot these things and shoot them fast enough and hard enough that I can do my testing. And so I went out and I just sort of looked around and I found half of an old crossbow, cheap one, we'll come to that. Bits of metal I had, some bungees, pulleys I had from other weird special effects jobs. And I decided to build one. And I was literally coming towards the end of building it, just kind of with what I had. It was lockdown, supplies were limited. I was bored. And I looked up and on my wall was a crossbow. This one, ready-made, reliable, repeatable, small, compact. And I thought, I wonder if this shoots longbow arrows at the same speed that Joe Gibbs' longbow, I was using his stats, I was wondering if it'd shoot them at the same speed that his did. So I got an arrow, right weight, 75, 80 grams, put it on the bow, and I shot. And this is what happened. It went beautifully. The arrow didn't break, the bow survived, repeatable every single time, and the best bit is it was within a few feet per second and within a metre per second of Joe Gibbs' numbers. And the lockdown longbow was born. That's the beginning of the story. So then, I was left with this thing. And I put it to one side, but then I pulled it out 2 years later and I looked at it. And I thought, what is this going to be good for? So we're going to come back to the engineering now. But what it is good for is not speed. I was kind of always hoping, but it was never going to be speed. But it is power. It throws heavy things, so check this out. And so this is what happened. Just over his shoulder. So the thing is, as you can tell, that was really quite slow. But the reason is, that spear, that pilum, Roman javelin, is 1.3 kilos, 1,300 grams. The arrows I was shooting with my lockdown longbow were about 75. That was my first intention, was for this to be able to shoot lightweight arrows. But there's two fundamental problems with it. The first one is that bungees have what you call a return rate, like all springs. They will go back fast. So, you know, you can pull an elastic band, flick your mate's bum with it, and it hurts. Great. But if you pull it back any further, it actually sort of comes to a stop. You can feel it. And you let go, and it won't go forward any faster. You know, it's got as much as it's ever going to do. And so the thing is, that return rate is too slow to drive an arrow at really good high speeds. This is the problem with this. Is the bungees are actually too slow to drive an arrow quickly. The other thing about them is, just like your elastic band, you come to a stop point at the end. And it has a natural end to it, and you can't make the bungee extend any more than that. But the thing is, you want it to be as long as possible, because a bungee actually ultimately is not that powerful. It can't get the speed. So to try and get the speed up, what I did was I added in these pulley elements here with more bungees so that they're pulling and these ones are pulling, and you've got 3 bungee sets, and I was kind of hoping that you'd get 3 times the return rate speed. it didn't work. It really didn't work. But you know what? By that point, I didn't care because I had my lockdown longbow, so that was sorted. And what I did have was a machine that was fantastically good at shooting heavy objects. So what I have now is a machine which is perfectly designed by accident for throwing spears, because it throws heavy objects at slowish speeds. So it's not the Ferrari that the lockdown longbow is, it's a truck. It's a semi, it's something for moving heavy stuff around, it's a tractor. But in the case of spears, it's exactly what we want. So what did I have lying around? Well, I had some ship's pulleys from some special effects days that I was using them for. I had bungee, same sort of thing. Bits of tubing. Oh, and of course, the crossbow at the end. And actually, this is a really important choice. Because the thing is, this was a cheapie, actually. It was, I don't know, 70, 80 pounds, $100, something like that. But the bungee doesn't fit into the crossbow trigger system. So I can't feed the bungee into that. So I've put a little pull loop on it. But that pull loop goes in. And this bow is so cheap, it doesn't have a dry fire system. So most crossbows, if you're not familiar with it now, they have a system where if you don't have a bolt in it, you can't pull the trigger. The safety just comes on, because otherwise the bow or the string will get destroyed. So it's a safety feature for the bow, not necessarily for the user. This bow doesn't have that. And so actually, I was able to just pull that straight in and the trigger releases perfectly, very simply. So I just made a bracket, bolted the front of this on there, and the whole lot was married up. But what I also did was I made this part, this bracket, and this bracket adjustable. So they go up and down. Now that is really important. Now it's important for my testing. I was looking at a Pelham recently and a film about that, and I'm coming back for another. But the question is, how hard would a Roman legionary be able to throw this? Now, I can't do that because just like I can't shoot powerful bows, I'm a rubbish thrower. So I found Michael Allison, an amazing thrower, does javelin for under 20s GB. He threw this, best thrower in the Legion, and we get a speed off it. And we get a speed off it, and now we can put that speed into this machine by adjusting it until it shoots at the same angle and the same power as him, and then I can start doing point blank tests and distance tests and whatever I want. So the thing is, it needed to be adjustable. But the bottom line, it also needs to be fun, because none of this is any good if it's not fun. So let's just do it again. See if I can hit him this time. So you can see that there's not a massive power on it, but the power is long. And then we're in. I've just put a wooden V on the end of this spear, this Pelham, so that it catches the string. And then we go. And so here we are. See if we can hit him this time. Oh, yes, right in the cods. And interestingly, the Pelham bent. We're going to come back to that because we've got some more testing in a couple of days where we're going to be looking at that aspect of it again. But I think that's it for today. So don't forget, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, get the merch. Just come down to the shop, support us in that way. But we're going to be back again a few days' time with Michael Allison, throw more stuff, and we're going to bring this well back for lots more testing during the summer. See you again sometime.